Another form of ownership you need to know is social enterprises. Social enterprises are primarily social objectives. Any profit made is reinvested back into the community or the business, rather than being obviously profit driven. They're out to try and help kind of make social changes usually, so help in the community and that. They're seen as business not for profit. That's not their goal. They're trying to usually provide maybe less well off people with opportunities, set up where there's an area of need, maybe young people who are struggling to get jobs, maybe people who've been in prison, people with disabilities, people who've maybe been homeless, women, people who've maybe been in prison, minority ethnic groups, people with learning disabilities, mental health issues. They would kind of be the key things, and they're trying to maybe help them find jobs, build their confidence, and go from there. We looked at a few when we were doing social enterprises, things like Jamie Oliver's 15 restaurant, the Eden Project, which was like kind of green and environmental, Divine Chocolate, which was like the fair trade chocolate. The big issue as well we looked at, because it seemed nearly as a charity the big issue, but it's not, because the homeless person actually pays a fee for the magazines and then sells it. And I suppose it's about helping them have a purpose, out in the community, building their skills and that hopefully then they'll find jobs. Why is it good? Well, you're seen to be socially driven, so your corporate image is usually much higher than a normal profit driven business, and that can give you a USP, competitive advantage in the market. There's also the chance of maybe finance through government grants. Now we know that's limited with the way the government is here at the moment, but there usually is, and that can then help. Employee motivation is usually quite high, because the people who maybe set these up are working them, they know they're helping, and then those who are employed, who maybe are from the minority groups, are having the chance to build their skills and knowledge that they may not have always had. So customer service and things could be very good as well. However, to run these types of social enterprises, they're very costly. You're putting a lot of money into training the staff and things, whereas usually profit-driven business will be trying to hire the staff with these skills. But like, for example, anyone homeless, the social enterprises are trying to build up their confidence, train them, provide opportunities. We've seen that with 15, with Jamie Oliver's restaurant. A lot of young people and that who didn't have the chance of jobs, but they were taking them on educational visits and that. Helping them meet suppliers and things of the products to try and build their knowledge, build their skills, build their confidence. But all of that requires money. So sometimes the prices are higher. You see it with fair trade chocolate and that too. So that's one big thing, and that can mean it's difficult to survive in the market, because maybe customers are more price driven than actually ethical driven, and will go to the profit driven business that's maybe slightly cheaper. And that's probably the key issue with being a social enterprise. You still have competition in the market. You're competing with profit-driven businesses that have maybe highly skilled staff and things, so it can be very difficult for you to compete against them. Capital-wise, it's difficult to raise capital, because you're not having shareholders and that in these businesses. We're saying about government funding, but it's limited, or there might be loads of paperwork with it, and you have to meet loads of requirements. You're not guaranteed that money coming through, and that's big issues to think about for any business. So that's the idea of a social enterprise. Just thinking there, the funding, and obviously there's a greater risk of closure. Like Jamie Oliver's 15 has closing. From that, charities then is the other form of ownership. Never come up as a valuation, but it can. A charity is an organisation with the specific purposes to be charitable, give back, and exclusively for public benefit. They're not for private benefit of anyone. Charity does not have any owners or shareholders who benefit from it. They're registered with the Charity Commission, and they regulate charities in the UK. So you must put together annual accounts, submit them so that they can monitor and make sure that the business is providing, or the charity is following the guidance in the law. What's the benefits of it? The charity work itself, they're reinvesting anything donation wise they make and funding that back and helping a lot of need. Like we see so many charities even here in the north, like we talked about at the time, the hospice, Kevin Bell, not to. The consumer benefits of anyone who's maybe is buying from charities, like the likes of the hospice shop, Quinoa shop in Hill Street, and that, customers feel kind of good about it. Maybe actually sometimes the charity shops and that are cheaper than, or usually are always cheaper than the high street retailers. So it's more affordable for consumers actually, which can be good. And that can be then supportive to the local community. But the work itself is the biggest advantage within charities. They're helping people who are maybe sick, homeless, elderly, and improving their quality of life. Sometimes as well, costs can be lower, I suppose, in the sense of a lot of voluntary work's done. But we know, like the hospice, not the costs are very high, and you see that could be your counter with it. The biggest issue is there's such a dependency on funds. They're not run as a business, they're reliant on donations. We know COVID and Brexit and things, cost of living crisis, donations and things are harder to get in, and that there's a lot of costs associated too still. So that's a big issue for a lot of charities that we know of. Some people don't buy from charity shops, view them as inferior. So, we're saying there about, you might have sales in the charity shops and that. However, that could be your counter to it, that people might buy from the charity shops. And then you still have the lack of privacy. You have to publish your accounts to the charity commission and things, submit them, and the issues with that. But, they're a great thing to have. There's a bit of a PR issue with charities now too, because big charities CEOs and that, and the ones who run the charities, the executives, are seen to be getting paid a lot of money, and there's a lot of scrutiny on the costs and expenses. Is the money actually going to those who need it most? So that's been a big thing in negative media, and corporate image kind of coming towards some charities, not all obviously, but that's a big issue. And they're your two last forms of ownership.